All right, we'll get to the news now. Republican gubernatorial candidate Jonathan Bush says if he's elected, he plans to reduce taxes, shrink state government, and encourage business growth.
He spoke with community members about those plans yesterday during a town hall at the Portland VFW Hall. Bush spent much of his time talking about what he called a bloated state government and how he thinks it discourages economic growth. Bush said if elected, he'd want a 25% tax cut and a $1 billion cut to the budget. He says he believes that would create a more industry-friendly environment. Bush also answered questions about veterans' benefits and social policy proposals. Portland VFW representatives say they believe in providing space for public conversations and community engagement.
It's just people talking to people versus just reading something on the internet and the outrage machine that's the internet. So
Maine is a leader in keeping community alive, neighbor energy alive, and VFWs are a key part of that fabric.
The Portland VFW says it plans to continue to offer its space to candidates from different political parties throughout the election season. Recently, the organization hosted Democratic U.S. Senate candidate Graham Plattner.
Plattner is campaigning with independent U.S. Senator and two-time candidate for president Bernie Sanders, along with gubernatorial candidate Troy Jackson. As part of Sanders' Fight Oligarchy tour, hundreds of people attended a rally last night in the University of Maine's Collins Center for the Arts. All three speakers criticized the influence of large corporations on politics and called for higher taxes on billionaires. Jackson and Plattner focused their message on working-class Mainers. They say they support unions, universal health care, and increased funding for public schools. Sanders says he believes the growing influence of wealthy companies is driving an affordability crisis across the country.
It's not only Trump that is trying to undermine American democracy. It is all of these billionaires and their super PACs who want to own and control the United States Congress. We cannot allow that to happen.
Our taxpayer dollars can build schools and hospitals in America and not bombs to destroy them in Gaza and Iran.
And what little time we have is being stolen by an oligarchy who see our lives, who see us as nothing more than a commodity, an opportunity to monetize.
Sanders, Plattner, and Jackson are also scheduled to hold a rally tonight in Portland. That starts at 7 o'clock this evening at Thompson's Point. Political Brew host Phil Hirschkorn will have a recap for us later on News Center Maine.
For voters casting a ballot in the U.S. Senate primary, they'll see three names for the Democratic nomination: Graham Plattner, David Costello, and Governor Janet Mills. In April, the governor ended her campaign to run as the Democrat-facing Senator Susan Collins for her seat in Washington. Mills said it was due to a lack of funds. However, until Mills sends the Secretary of State a written notice that she's out of the running, Mainers can still vote for her. Chief Deputy Secretary of State Catherine Ryan says with ranked choice voting, there's still a chance she could earn the nomination.
Anything's possible. It's up to the people of Maine. And, depending on how they vote, we will count their votes. Ranked choice voting is in place for the Senate Democrat primary. So we'll see where the counts and the votes go.
News Center Maine has reached out to members of Mills's former campaign for comment on whether she intends to send written notice. She is withdrawing, but we haven't heard back. The Secretary of State's office is hosting free voting, nonpartisan informational sessions before the election. You can head to our website for more information.
Taking a look now at our nation's capital, where officials have identified the suspect who opened fire outside the White House. Officials say 21-year-old Nazir Best pulled a pistol out at a Secret Service checkpoint on Saturday and shot at officers. They returned fire, ultimately killing him. Secret Service officials say they knew of Best. Officers arrested him last year for trying to gain entry to White House grounds. 5 senior law enforcement officials say he had a history of mental health concerns. Police say a bystander was hit in the crossfire by gunfire. He was taken to a local hospital. A woman who identified herself as Best's mother told the Washington Post that she learned about the shooting on social media and was in disbelief. She said her son, quote, was never violent regardless of what people are posting.